Everyone said movie stars are dead. The industry said it. The critics said it. Even the audience started to believe it. Franchises took over. Superhero logos replaced human faces. Nobody cared who was inside the suit anymore. They just cared about the character, the brand, the universe. For a solid decade, Hollywood forgot what a real movie star actually feels like. Someone who makes you buy a ticket, not because of the IP, not because of the trailer, but because they are in it, because you trust them, because when they show up on screen, something happens inside you. And then, out of nowhere, one guy reminded the entire world what a movie star is supposed to be. His name is Timothée Chalamet, and what he has done in the last 8 years is nothing short of extraordinary. This is his story. The underdog beginning. Let's go back to where it all started. Timothée Chalamet was born in New York City. His mother is American, his father is French, and he grew up moving between Manhattan and a small town in the south of France. That mix of cultures, American ambition and European artistic taste, quietly shaped everything about how he sees the world and how he approaches his craft. He wasn't born into Hollywood royalty. His uncle is a director, his sister is an actress, so the arts were always nearby. But nobody handed him anything. He started the way almost every young actor starts. Small TV roles, guest appearances, background work, the kind of jobs that keep you hopeful but don't change your life. He did a few episodes of Homeland. He appeared in Law and Order. He was just another kid in New York, grinding, waiting for a door to open. Then, in 2017, director Luca Guadagnino chose him for the lead role in Call Me by Your Name, and the door didn't just open. It blew completely off its hinges. The film is set in 1980s Italy. Chalamet plays Elio, a 17-year-old boy spending the summer at his family's villa, who falls deeply in love with an older graduate student played by Armie Hammer. It's a slow, sensual, quietly devastating film. No explosions, no action. Just two people, long summer days, and an emotion so heavy it sits on your chest long after the credits roll. Chalamet was only 20 years old when he filmed it. 20 years old. And what he delivered was the kind of performance that veteran actors spend entire careers chasing. The final scene of that movie, where he sits alone by a fireplace, tears running down his face, not saying a single word. That scene broke people. Not because of special effects or a dramatic score, just because of what was happening in his eyes. The Academy took notice. He received a nomination for Best Actor at the Academy Awards. He became the third youngest Best Actor nominee in the history of the Oscars. Overnight, every major director in Hollywood had one question. What is this kid going to do next? That question turned out to be the most interesting part of the story. The risky choices. After Call Me by Your Name, Timothée Chalamet had every door in the industry open for him. Think about that for a second. He was 22 years old, fresh off an Oscar nomination, and every studio on the planet wanted a piece of him. He could have walked straight into any superhero franchise. He could have taken the safe blockbuster, the guaranteed payday, the role that makes you famous but slowly hollows you out. A lot of actors in his position do exactly that. And honestly, nobody would have blamed him. He didn't do that. Instead, he made a series of choices that at the time confused a lot of people, but in hindsight were completely genius. First came Dune. In 2021, Denis Villeneuve, one of the greatest directors working today, cast Chalamet as Paul Atreides, the lead of his adaptation of Frank Herbert's legendary science fiction novel. Now on paper, Dune sounds like the franchise move I just described. It's a big-budget studio film. It's science fiction. It has massive commercial potential. But Dune is not a normal movie. It is a deeply philosophical, complex, slow-burning epic. It had defeated multiple filmmakers over the decades because it's so hard to translate to screen. The pressure on Chalamet was enormous. Carry a multi-hundred-million-dollar film, make a character who is essentially a messiah figure feel human and vulnerable, and do it all while competing against decades of audience expectation. He nailed it. Completely. Dune Part 1 was a critical and commercial success. Dune Part 2 in 2024 was even bigger. Chalamet's Paul Atreides doesn't feel like an action hero. He feels like a terrified young man being pulled toward a destiny he never asked for. That choice, to play the fear instead of the power, is what made the performance so compelling.
Then came Bones and All, a road trip love story. Set in 1980s America, about two young people who are cannibals. Yes, actual cannibals. Director Luca Guadagnino reunited with Chalamet for this deeply strange, deeply human film. It's uncomfortable, it's beautiful, it's not for everyone. And it was exactly the kind of bold, weird, difficult storytelling that Chalamet gravitates toward when he's not doing big studio projects. And then, Wonka. This is where things got really interesting. Chalamet signed on to play Willy Wonka, one of the most beloved fictional characters in the history of cinema. Gene Wilder's 1971 version is untouchable for an entire generation. Johnny Depp tried it in 2005 and divided audiences completely. This was not a safe role. This was the kind of role that ends careers if you get it wrong. Chalamet didn't just get it right, he made it completely his own. He spent months learning to sing and dance. He found a warmth and a wonder in the character that felt entirely fresh. Wonka came out in 2023, made over $600 million worldwide, and introduced Chalamet to an entirely new audience. Families, children, people who had never seen Call Me By Your Name or Dune in their lives. What you're seeing across all three of these films, Dune, Bones and All, Wonka, is a young actor who is completely, almost obsessively, allergic to repetition. Every single role is a different challenge, a different world, a different version of himself. He refuses to find a lane and stay in it. And that refusal is what separates him from almost everyone else working today. The Marty Supreme moment. Now we get to the moment that truly confirmed Timothée Chalamet was operating on a completely different level than anyone else in Hollywood. Marty Supreme. Christmas Day, 2025. A 24. The film is directed by Josh Safdie, the genius behind Uncut Gems and Good Time, two of the most intense, anxiety-inducing films of the last decade. Chalamet plays Marty Mauser, a shoe salesman in 1950s New York who is also a fiercely competitive table tennis player. The character is loosely inspired by real-life ping-pong legend Marty Reisman, a hustler, a showman, a man who wanted desperately to make the world take his sport seriously. On paper, this sounds like an odd choice. A movie about a 1950s ping-pong player? From the director of Uncut Gems? Released on Christmas Day, a slot typically reserved for family-friendly crowd-pleasers. Everything about this film seemed counterintuitive, and then the marketing started, and the internet completely lost its mind. Instead of doing the traditional promotional tour, late-night shows, magazine covers, press junkets, Chalamet went completely rogue. He posted a staged Zoom call on social media where he pitched increasingly ridiculous marketing ideas to a 24 executives with a completely straight face. It was hilarious. It was self-aware. It was a perfect satire of corporate Hollywood culture. The video went viral instantly, but he didn't stop there. He actually followed through on some of those ideas. A giant bright orange blimp with Marty Supreme printed on the sides flew across the United States. The Empire State Building was lit up orange for the New York premiere. He released a drill rap music video, completely in character, that people genuinely could not tell was a joke at first. He created an entire cultural moment around a film about a 1950s table tennis player. And somehow, it felt completely authentic, not manufactured. The Marty Supreme jacket became a fashion obsession. People were talking about it like it was a Supreme drop or a limited sneaker release. The orange color palette of the film took over social media. Chalamet understood something that most actors and studios completely miss. In 2025, the marketing campaign is part of the art. The way you introduce a film to the world is itself a creative act. And when the film actually came out, it delivered on every single promise. Critics called his performance one of the most colossal movie performances of the 21st century. Rotten Tomatoes score, 93%. The film made $192 million worldwide, making it a 24's highest-grossing film in the studio's history. A 24. The studio known for Midsommar, Hereditary, Everything Everywhere All at Once. And a movie about a 1950s ping pong player is now their biggest film ever. He won Best Actor at the Golden Globe Awards. He received his third Academy Award nomination, this time for a film he also helped produce. And he did all of this with an R-rated period drama about a niche sport that nobody thought had mainstream commercial appeal. The Marty Supreme moment didn't just prove that Chalamet could carry a film. It proved that he had become something rarer, a cultural force. Someone who doesn't just appear in the conversation, but actively shapes it. Why he's different. So what actually separates Timothée Chalamet from every other talented young actor working today?